Hey guys, this is Joey from the DK podcast. Welcome back to a new episode, episode 8. In this episode, we will be recapping episodes 7.1 and 7.2 with our guest Tracy Phillips, aka Trey Fit for Life. We will also be breaking this episode down into two episodes, 8.1 and 8.2. We hope you enjoy, and we will see you guys later.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Justin
Joey.
and we are here with episode number 8. And today we're going to do a recap of episode 7.1 and 7.2 with our friend Tracy Phillips, aka Trey Fit for Life.
Yes.
And it's going to be a pretty good episode. So, Joey, let's just start with what you think about the episode. How'd you feel? What worked, what didn't work, what was missing,
Okay, so before we get into that, I want to say happy heavenly birthday to my father and to let him know that he's greatly missed. And yeah, so let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Yes, happy heavenly father birthday to your father. Thank you for taking the time to do that. So, all right, now let's talk about the episode.
Okay.
So, what worked for you? I know this is a friend of yours, childhood friend.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Everything worked. Go Trey, go. Yeah, I mean, honestly, everything worked. He came prepared. He came full of knowledge. He came, full of experience. And yeah, he was ready. He was ready to work.
Yeah, he definitely was ready to work. I said this to you, I think we said at the end of the episode, but that broke the record for the longest Dreamcatchers
Yes, it did.
podcast.
Yes,
And
it did.
to be honest with you, it probably could have went longer because of just this time of like you guys talking
Right.
before we hit record and just different things like that. So
Yeah.
just walk us back through it. Let's just start with his childhood. I mean, he started all the way from the age of 2. He started at 2. I was like, okay, we're going to be here for a while.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, there was things that I found out that I didn't know. I never really knew how they all ended up with Graham.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know that story, so that was new to me. And like he said, thank God for his grandma that she was able to step in and become, their parental provider.
Yeah. I was grateful for that story too, even though we know through the episode he went through some things, but I think about what his life might have been like if grandma wasn't involved, if she didn't get involved. So
Right.
that's really important. I think that's why a podcast like this is important, to help people really identify, go through their stories and understand that you can't get through this thing by yourself. So there are people who have come along the way, whether it be a grandma, a friend, somebody you was locked up with, somebody you wasn't locked up with. Like there's a lot of different pieces to play, and we all have a part to play in each other's stories. So
Right.
I really appreciated that. He talked about you guys growing up, so
Yeah.
you guys grew up and all those different things. What was, I'm gonna say this, obviously you know his story because you invited him on the podcast, but based upon what you know about him now, or how can I say this? Not know about him now, but did you see some of the things happening in his life that he talked about, specifically now that he's out, like some of the things he's going after, trying to do with his life?
No.
Okay, why
No,
is
I
that?
didn't. Because I was in my own mix. So, yeah, a lot of the things that he was doing when he was doing what he was doing, I was in the process of doing what I was doing. So we would see each other in passing at that point. There wasn't a lot of interaction. Most of our interaction was when we were children. But like he said, when we were adults and we all lived in the same neighborhood, we all like literally was streets away from each other.
Yeah.
And we all knew what we were doing, and we were all out there doing what we were doing, and it was just like I guess an unspoken word, like
Yeah.
that we get into it.
Yeah. I think it was really interesting the proximity that you guys had to each other growing up, and but y'all had different experiences.
Yeah.
So he dropped a lot of gems on us. I just recapped some of the stuff he talked about. His first incarceration upstate. He talked about being released and talked about going back to jail. Talked about the renewal center. Talked about all these different processes and different milestones that he hit and different things along his journey. I think one of the things he really brought out was, I don't know if you remember, we talked about the seizure of the car and how there are technologies in place that really jam people.
Technicalities. Yeah.
Technicalities. What did you think about that?
I was unaware of that. That's why I said, like, he came with information. He was ready. He came with knowledge. I was unaware of that. So, you know, when he said that, and he was like in his mind thinking that things were going to go one way, when he finds out that those technicalities cause things to go a whole nother way. Like, yeah, you never know. Everybody's situation is different. Everybody's court case is different. Everybody's charges is different. Nobody's stuff is the same. Nobody's outcome will ever be exactly the same unless that's your Cody.
Yeah. I think that's why, as I become a student, and, you know, we're in our 8th episode, but there's stuff we're working on behind the scenes, learning about just the prison system, the justice system in our country, and how it really is systemically designed to jam us up on a completely different level. And I think as we continue on, I'm looking forward to really unpacking policies and just like technicalities, because I think a lot of what we're going to be able to do and produce is going to be able to help a lot of people, you know what I mean, just on some technicality stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so there was a lot of different things he mentioned. One of the things I wanted to talk about was he talked about how his life, or how he was trying to go in certain directions, but he was at a halfway house and opportunities would come up and things wouldn't work out. So what did you think about that?
I just felt like it was God.
Okay.
I felt like it was God. I felt like timing was everything, and I felt like you know, when God wanted those situations to happen, or whatever the situations, when it was time, that those things would fall into place. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's good. So obviously we're a ministry as well, right? And you make no apologies about being faith-based. So there's a scripture in Romans chapter 8:28. It says, God causes all things to work together for the good of those who love God and who are called according to his purpose. So when we talk about things happening in his life where God just like, nah, you can't do that, or you can't move that way, I think a lot of times people think it's just positive stuff that happens to us, but like negative things happen.
Yes, absolutely.
And God redirects us. So can you kind of talk about that a little bit more?
He'll sit you down.
Okay.
He will sit you down. If you're moving too fast, if you're doing anything that you ain't supposed to be doing in his eyes, that's not lining up with the path that he wants you to be on, he will sit you down by all means necessary. Sometimes that means going to jail. Yeah. Going to jail to protect you from yourself, or protect you from the outside world.
Yeah. That's good. So more about his story. So he talked about taking a plea deal, and he thought that was the best plan for him. So a lot of times we make decisions, and
Are we talking about the last time he got locked up? That he said that he took the plea deal, and he had to speak with his cellie through the.
Talk about that. Yeah, that was crazy. I completely forgot about that until just now. Yeah, talk about that.
Well, I mean, he said that his cellie was in the hole, and when
all right. So for our audience, because we got a different type of audience. Okay. Right? So help me. So talk to them like they don't know anything. Okay. So what does that? What does the hole mean?
The hole is what is it called? Dag, I can't think. I'm getting a brain for it.
It's okay. It's all right.
Solitary confinement. Solitary confinement. Thank you. Yes. So basically, you got jammed up while you was in jail, and they put you there for punishment. They put you there to investigate whatever the situation was, but mainly they put you there to control you. They put you there to break you. They put you there for punishment, because they don't want you to get irate and cause things to happen that they no longer can control within the prison walls. Yeah. So that's basically what the hole is. So I assume that his cellie was caught up in something. Okay. And that's why they put him in the hole. So Tracy went to court while his cellie was in the hole. And like you said, he done fired so many attorneys, and he ended up firing an attorney that day. Yeah. And, the word got back to his cellie. His cellie jumped on the jail phone. Okay. Which is like the toilet, the vent, I think. Maybe even the sink. I don't know. Okay. I only know about the toilets. And like he said, I ain't getting in nobody's toilet to talk to nobody. Ain't that serious. But however, his cellie reached out to him and basically gave him a shock of reality, and told him he ain't want to end up like somebody they was locked up with who was fighting the case for so many years, and then turned around and ended up getting life after they gave him an offer that was much shorter, and he just felt, I guess he felt like he could beat the system, and so he ran with it, and they knocked his head off.
Yeah, that's pretty serious.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of times what's been helpful for me personally, like obviously I'm from the hood, but I chose a different path. God put me on a different path. I never got caught up in anything crazy. And I think the media portrays some of this stuff very romantically. Like, it's fun, it's cool. But that idea of like getting in the toilet to talk to somebody,
yes,
that's just a different thing. And I think a lot of times, specifically for younger people who are getting caught up in a lot of stuff, they're not thinking about the repercussions of their actions.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think
it's real.
Yeah, it is.
And they
real.
do romanticize it. They absolutely do. But you got to remember, it's a money game. So they're going to broadcast it, they're going to romanticize it, they're going to have your favorite rapper, your favorite sports person, they're going to have you thinking that you can act the fool, you can get away with it. You'll go to jail for a little bit, but you don't realize what it's hitting for until you actually in that situation. They don't tell you, exactly what it's hitting for. They just tell you like, you could go do a nickel. You could do a nickel on your head. You could do a dime on your head. Like, it sound good till you actually in there.
Yeah.
And then when you in there and you can't see your folks and you can't talk on the phone when you want to, and you waiting for money so you could go to the store, and you waiting for money so you can make a phone call. You waiting for a letter just to hear somebody say, hey, what's up? You know what I mean? And in most cases with the guys, they're surrounded by a bunch of men. I mean, with the women too, you're surrounded by a bunch of women. So it's like, man, somebody's telling you when to get up, when to sit down, when to stand. You got to stand when they doing count, even if you did in the middle of your sleep. You know what I mean? They want you up because they need to keep you accounted for. You got to move a certain type of way. Like, man, you don't have no freedom. Like all that's taken away from you. And it kills me when people sit there and try to make it seem like it's fun and games when it's really a number game. It's about the money. They want the money because every day that you're there, they getting paid for you being there.
Yeah. I think one of the first conversations, I don't know if you remember, we were talking about TV shows and power and things like that. And I was like, I don't really find that stuff entertaining because I personally didn't live it, but I've seen a lot of people that lived it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing dope about that at all.
Right.
So you talked about just the freedom being stripped. What does that process do to a person psychologically, mentally, emotionally, when they're trying to come home? Because this is one of the things we want to do is we want to help people really get themselves together who are on their way home and help the families help them. So you talked about how bad it is and you talked about the effects. What does that process do to somebody who's like trying to come home and get on their feet? Like,
I can only assume that process is depending on the time that you spent locked away. I can only imagine that you get institutionalized.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best way that I can describe it. I wasn't in jail long, but I was brainwashed. I was brainwashed because I went to boot camp, and in boot camp you had to speak yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. You had to ask to do things. In the regular penitentiaries, you don't have to ask to go to the bathroom. You could just go to the bathroom. When I was in Cambridge, the bathroom was right across the hall from my room.
Okay.
And like I said in our previous episode with Pastor Tom, that Cambridge is like a old college dorm.
Okay.
So I mean, it's a college campus, and so all the rooms and stuff or dorm like setups. So if you've ever been to college, you know that there's rooms on the floor. It's a long hallway. There's a bathroom. So there was no doors. In Cambridge.
Is that what it's like? Because I've been to college, but I never went to class. We'll talk about it on a different episode.
So you So like I was saying, my room was across from the bathroom. So anytime if I wake up in the middle of the night, I could just walk across the hall, go to the bathroom. If I wake up in the middle of the night and I want to get something to eat, I could go get my bowl. If I wanted some noodles, I can go get my bowl and go across the hall. It's called a hot shot. A hot shot is very, very, very hot water.
Okay.
And
boiling or beyond boiling?
It's hot enough to make a bowl of noodles that you don't
Okay.
gotta put them on the stove.
Okay.
You just put the noodles in the bowl.
How does it get hot?
It's hot. It comes out hot.
From?
I don't know.
Okay.
It comes out hot.
So you just taking water? I mean, but you're locked up, so you don't
ain't
care.
got no choice.
All right, yeah, I
If
got
you
you.
want
I
to
got
eat,
you. I got you. I got
you get the bowl. You put your noodles in. You pour the water in, and you put the lid on top of the bowl, and you wait for it to cook. So anywho, in the prison, those were some things that you were. It was a luxury to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
When I got to boot camp, it was nothing like that. The boot camp, you had to ask for everything.
Okay.
You had to ask to sit. You had to ask to stand. You had to ask to eat. You had to ask to use the bathroom.
Like a toddler.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And it's like, sir, yes, sir. Sir, no, sir. Sir, you can't say sir can. You got to say, sir, may I?
Okay.
Utilize the head. The head was the bathroom.
Okay.
So it was military based.
Okay.
Right. So when I graduated from boot camp and I was on my way home, my brother's talking to me, God rest his soul. He's talking to me, and every time he says something to me before I'm speaking, I'm like, sir, yes, sir. Sir, no, sir. And he's like, man, if you don't stop that. And he understood because he went to George Jr. When he was younger.
Okay.
So he understood. But it's like, I can't. Like, I need some time.
Yeah,
like,
you got to unlearn
I'm not
that.
walking out of there
Yeah.
and switching a switch. Like,
Yeah.
it took some time.
Yeah.
It took some time.
Wow. Okay. So is it fair to say the longer you've been away, the more challenges you probably have?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I just got off the phone with my little brother who's locked up. He'd been locked up over 10 years.
Wow.
He got a 15 to 30.
Wow.
And he's telling me, like, I gotta get out of here. This place is killing my brain.
Yeah.
It's frying my brain. Like, and it's so crazy because I hear the difference from last year to this year. And he's starting to make sense. He's starting to see the picture. He said, I know what I have to do. I have to come home. I have to not be in the same environments that I was in before. I have to get away from them people. Man, I might even have to move out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I hear it in
He's
him,
turning
the
the
change.
corner. Yeah.
Yes, because last year I'm like, you still ain't learned.
Yeah.
You still have not learned. The stuff that you're talking to me, you still have not learned.
Yeah.
So yes, the longer that you're in there, absolutely.
Yeah, true story. So I remember this was a couple summers ago. I was at the barbershop, and there was this guy sitting next to me getting his haircut. And I remembered him. I was like, I know this brother. You know, I'm sitting there thinking. And then I remembered who he was. And when we were kids, he ended up doing some dirt. Long story short, it did not go well.
Okay.
2 people lost their lives.
Oh no.
And he ended up getting held accountable for that, for lack
Okay.
of better terms.
Okay.
Now, if he did it or he didn't do it, we're not going to get into all that.
Okay.
But he did what most people do in our community. He kept his mouth shut.
Okay.
And he did the time. And he lost all of his 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he's a couple years older than me. I just turned 40, so pretty much all of his 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me, and we're like, I'm shocked because life is different now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I just had my daughters, and well, I didn't have them; their mom did. But I remember just asking them, like, "Yo, like, I didn't even know where to start because so much time had changed from in 20 years. You know what I mean? And I was like, "What's up, man? Like, how are you doing? Like, what's going on with you?" He was like, "Man, it's crazy out here." I was like, "What do you mean it's crazy out here?" He's like, "Man, this social media is crazy." He's like, "Bro, if we had Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and all this other stuff when we was growing up," he was like, "Most of us probably wouldn't have graduated high school." I was like, "I know I wouldn't have graduated high school just because of the internet and all that." So when you say 10 years or when you say time really does change and it does strip people and it does reprogram people, I think that's one of the things that that gets me, that's been really impacting me, is like just seeing the systematic intentionality, specifically in our communities. I mean, poverty doesn't discriminate, but there's so many different things in the Black community that jam us up. And when specifically men and women of color are taken away, we're already trying to keep up,
right?
And now it's like setting us back even more. So I think this is very important that we really highlight these things. So one of the things I want,
but not a lot of people. Also, a lot of people get stuck.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people come out like Tracy.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a lot of people are not able, but take the time to read and, you know what I'm saying, educate themselves on different things. A lot of people will sit there and they'll do day-to-day, regular day-to-day, and be stuck. So when they come home, if they went in 10 years ago, they're coming home as that same person 10 years ago.
Yeah, and life, the world done passed you by, bro.
Yes, it waits for nobody.
I mean, we got FaceTime. That was the Jetsons when we was kids.
There's grown people who went in when they were 30, come home when they're 40, and they still think I'm 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because time was held still for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Wow. So yeah. Tracy, let's get back to Tracy.
Yes.
We get on this nice rabbit trail. So, because he was our guest. So one of the things he talked about, he did federal time.
Yes.
So somebody asked me, what's the distinction between state and federal time?
State is if you get caught and you are charged by Allegheny County.
Okay.
Federal is the United States of America.
Okay.
Versus you.
Okay.
It's the whole 51? Is it 51 or is it 50?
We might got 53 by the time you know who's out. Let me stop. Of the world, Craig.
But it's the whole United States of America.
Even Puerto Rico.
Versus little old you.
Man.
And maybe your crew.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But yeah, so that's the difference. And then the different prisons, and then, so if you are charged by the United States, then you have the luxury of going to any prison across America.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they don't have to keep you local.
So you're saying if I go down here in Pittsburgh with federal things,
charges,
I can go.
Yeah, they'll take you wherever.
To Alabama.
And absolutely.
No.
Wherever there's a federal prison. And some people have told me that the first time they ever flew.
No, don't do me like that.
The first time they ever flew was when they were in federal penitentiary and they were moved from one jail to another.
Wow.
On a rickety piece of crazy, probably will fall out of the sky.
The wings is barely hanging on. They want you to get there, but they don't want you to get there. I got you.
But yeah. So then, if you're charged by, Allegheny County, Fayette County, Butler County, you're gonna go to a state penitentiary. You'll stay in the state of Pennsylvania or whatever the state is that you were that you caught your charges in. Wow. So that's one of the main differences. The other difference is they always say that Fed time is the better time.
Okay.
Because of the good time. So I don't really know exactly what the numbers are, but I'm just going to throw them out there. I could be wrong, but so don't quote me. Don't fact check. I mean, fact check me.
Fact check.
Absolutely fact check me. But federal time, I think, is 11 months versus being 12 months.
Okay.
So you get good time. You get time taken off for the however many years that you spend. And you can also get good time in the state. It's just different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I heard they got better food and stuff like that in the feds. I ain't promoting it or saying anybody should go, but I'm just saying, like, I heard that Fed time is the better time. So
okay, all right. I'm not gonna do that type of research. I'm good. I made it this long without getting caught up. I'm freeing. I'm gonna stay on the right path. All right. So one of the things I wanted to talk about too with you was one of the things Tracy disclosed with us was his dad went to prison.
Okay.
So I want to talk about the generational component of incarceration and what that looks like for families. So what would you share with us? What in your experience? What's your perspective on that?
My dad, who I said happy birthday to, he also was in prison, but he was in prison for other reasons. He wasn't like selling drugs or anything, but my dad, he had his ways. It landed him in jail.
Okay.
So, my older brother ended up in jail. I ended up in jail. Out of my dad's 4 children, 2 of them went to jail. So I could say that probably made, played a part.
Okay.
In, how things panned out for us.
Yeah.
So I feel like, it's not necessary that if your parents in jail, then you're probably going to go to jail, but it could be a possibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing that. Sometimes we do these things. Most of the time we do these things. She has no idea what I'm going to ask her. But as I was doing my research, some of the stuff I found out was they're building prisons today in the future based upon who's in jail.
Yes.
And how it's going to impact their kids.
Yes.
So.
Because they're banking on your kids to.
Yeah.
You're in jail, so they're banking on your kids to follow your footsteps.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's just crazy to me. That's
Yep.
crazy to me because it's systemic. Like you said, it's about money.
Mm-hmm.
It's about oppression. It's about those different things.
Mm-hmm.
What were some other things that jumped out to you from the interview with Tracy? Like, man, I didn't know that about him, or that was pretty dope. Or, we're going to get into. We just talked about his prison time. We're now going to shift before we shift into what he's doing now to make an impact with the health and wellness. But what else jumped out to you from just his Genesis story and just his whole process?
I didn't know Tracy went to school for one. I didn't know Tracy went to school.
Okay.
And for 2, I didn't know he went to school for sports.
Okay.
I didn't know any of that because I'm a little bit older than Tracy as well. So again, we were running around the neighborhood together, but I went to school on the north side, so a lot of things was happening on the east side that I wasn't aware of as far as him being in sports and stuff. So I missed that part. That was something new that I learned about him. And so that was one of the things. And then I didn't know Tracy went to jail so many times.
I was like, man, this dude's
He's
bulletproof.
relentless.
I know I was like, wow.
There was levels to it.
No,
I didn't know.
He put us. Go back and watch the episodes.
Yes.
We're purposely not going into too much, but he did some things. He got that fat time for a reason.
Absolutely.
But go ahead.
Yeah. So I do want to shift.
Yeah.
I want to shift into the positive because that's the whole point of all of this.
Yeah.
We talked about the dark, we talked about the ugly, and let's go into the positive stuff.
Yeah.
Tracy is an amazing individual.
He is.
He's an amazing individual. He's so loving, he's so caring, and he's so devoted to the movement that he's trying to promote or that he is promoting, because he told me stop using the word try.
Yeah.
He told me to stop. So I'm not going to say it. He is so positive, and he is so for what he's doing. Mm-hmm. He's standing for what he's doing. He wants to make our communities healthier. He wants our children to be healthier. Mm-hmm. And parents, he wants you to follow too, because a broken person can't fix a broken person. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So if you are broken and you repair yourself, then you can help. It's hard to help when you need help. So parents, that's what he was saying. He was saying, you start exercising, you start eating right, you start showing better, healthy habits, and let it trickle down. And that'll be the generational curse that we want. Those are the type of generational curses that we want.
You mean blessing?
Okay, blessings.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's a blessing if you're healthy.
Yes.
And then your kids are healthy.
Yes. And then your grandchildren will be healthy, and so on and so forth. We don't have to continue to live the way that we were forced to live when we didn't have the access to better living.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that that's what he's out here promoting.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot that was pretty dope. So for me, in the producer's chair, and you guys got to see the back of my head. That was your favorite part of the episode. But for me sitting there and then just with his fiance Deja and just that whole dynamic, just seeing them. Hey Deja. what was really cool for me was to see somebody who, and this kind of goes back when I talked about pulling the gold out of your life and seeing it in his life. So, like, once again, we're a ministry. So the story in the scriptures where there's a guy who's demon possessed, and Christ comes to him and he's like, why are you coming to torment us before our time? And the Bible says, like, he cast those demons out, and then those demons are now put into pigs, and then pigs are drowned and all that. You should check it out. It really happened according to the scriptures. But then afterwards, the guy is like set free, like he's in his right mind. He's back to who he was. And anybody who goes through that experience, the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to follow Jesus. That's probably the best thing you want to do. And then him wanting to follow Jesus, Jesus is like, nah, like, you need to go back to where you're from and tell people about what it
Tell
is
them
I've
about me.
done for you. And it wasn't like this long, like, hey, you need 90 days probation.
Right.
You got to gear training.
Right.
You got to go around. Like, you can be used now
Yes.
when God does stuff for you and in your life. And that's what I really noticed about him. I call that impartation. And I felt like he really imparted into you on the episode, into all of our audience, just even stuff off screen when we talked about a lot of different things. And I see a lot of great things coming out of his life. So I'm really excited just to kind of, you know, he's been sharing our stuff. He's been like really partnering with us, making himself available. But I see a lot of synergy in what you guys are doing and what we're doing here at DK and the stuff he's trying to do, you know what I mean, overall with just community building and health building. So that was one of my favorite things, is just overall just to hear his story and to see like the stuff he's doing now. A lot of times there are people who have way better circumstances and they're not doing anything with their lives. And I think Tracy is a great example of what it's like to just start where you're at and just continue to build upon that.
Yeah, and this is going to sound crazy, but I'm as you're telling the story or whatever and everything about Jesus, I'm just thinking about how Jesus really didn't have anything, right? He didn't have anything. All he had was his word. And I ain't saying that Tracy is poor by any means, or he's not rich either. He said it. He said it himself. He's not rich either. However, he's taken what he has to help others.
Yeah.
And all he has is his words, his body and his words.
Yeah.
And he's out here showing people what they need to do to make their lives better. And it just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I see Jesus in you, Trace.
Yeah. And I mean, this is how my mind works, but that goes back to Acts 3. Healing at the gate called Beautiful. Peter and John are walking up, and the guy's begging for him. It's like, silver and gold I do not have, but what I do have, I give to you in the name of Jesus Christ. Get up and walk. So it's what you have. It's what's in you.
Yeah.
Using that. Like you said, Christ didn't have great worldly possessions,
Right.
but he took what he have and he imparted that into people, and then people imparted, and here we are 2,000 plus years later.
Right.
So we'll go to the Bible study podcast on a different one. Let's stick with this one. So,
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to episode 8, which is actually episode 8.1. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you check out episode 8.2, which will come out the following week. You guys, thank you so much for everything, and we will see you shortly.